Hello, world.
Hello, guys.
So, good morning. Hopefully, you're awake. I didn't have much sleep tonight, and I'm a little sleepy, but hopefully, we can continue fighting with not fighting, but just reworking lit HTML in order to achieve what we want to. Pretty much what we want is to use it as a templating engine for our front-end framework that we're developing, and it had a couple of differences. It wasn't working as we needed it, so we decided to just fork it and start like refactoring it, just so we can start using it. Oh, Aleksander joined. Hello, Alexander. Good morning.
Good
I see that
morning.
you're sleepy as well.
Yeah. How are you guys?
I was just saying that I'm pretty sleepy myself.
I'm fine, so
Harry said that he had enough sleep and that he will actually be doing most of the thinking today.
Well, the worst part is that we have someone to carry the load.
Yeah. So the previous episode was super interesting for me. It was a lot of fun, especially with the circle dependency thing.
oh,
And it's good that we discovered it. So today, as I said, we're going to continue. So let me share my screen. Our simple application. So what we discovered is the circle dependency that we actually can install a plugin for. And this is actually the first thing that I'm going to do because I don't want to lose any more time in understanding why something doesn't work. So the circle dependency thing, we're going to install it and configure it. It doesn't look very hard to do, to make it work, I think. Yeah, just okay. And the other thing that we discovered is we had an issue why actually our custom component was not rendering. And the issue was that whenever we don't have a binding, pretty much we don't create it. And we managed to create it by just creating this binding here and providing a value. So this means that we have to still refactor a little bit more inside the HTML so it can actually understand that even if this doesn't exist, that this is still something that needs to get created and rendered. So this is what we're going to be. This is what actually we're going to try to do today. Hopefully we can achieve it and we can continue with something else. Not that I don't like lit HTML. It's super fun to, I don't know, refactor it. But maybe it's getting a little bit too boring for you guys. No.
I like the disclaimer. Like, we are not gonna do it. We will try to do it. Like,
Well, after all,
yeah,
after all, it's live coding, so you never know.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
with live coding, you can lose like hours of just banging your head against the wall.
Just for a circle dependency. Like last time, though, it was like mind blowing at the end. So
Yeah. You know, like we probably had to like name our channel "The Struggles of a Developer" or something like that. Instead of commit.js. But anyways, I mean, it's good if the people who are watching, probably it's useful for them to see like the development process, or at least my development process. I mean, obviously, like if you're, I don't know, very good, probably you don't make mistakes like I do. But I mean, I cannot say that I'm the best. So let's first, if you guys want, let's first install this thing so we can be calm that we won't have any problems with the circle dependencies. So yeah, I'm going to install it like so, but I'm going to use Yarn because this is what we are actually using for the project. So we are still in commit 8 just because we haven't finished what we actually wanted. So I haven't made another repository, so probably I have to rename the repository commits 8, 9, and 10 or something.
Yeah.
So we'll see. But yeah, let's start. Let's say yarn add this thing, and just copy the code from here and just paste it inside our Webpack config, and hopefully it will start working. So
now
we have to.
our 10th commit JS. It's kind of our birthday.
Oh, it's I mean, birthday. I wouldn't say because
yeah, it's nothing like a birthday. My mistake. Like you said, I'm too creepy. But what was the word?
Anniversary.
Yeah, anniversary.
It's not anniversary. It's like how do you call it? Harry said it, but I forgot the word. Anyways,
You have no idea.
doesn't matter. Let's focus on the code. I mean, let's focus on the code because we're wasting precious time. Okay, so what do we want to exclude? I'm not sure why we need to exclude this. I'm not sure why this is here. I'm going to leave it, and I'm just going to see if it's going to work by just restarting the server, and hopefully we won't have any issues. Okay, everything's working, so hopefully this will make things better for us, and we won't be able to see any circle dependencies. Probably the best idea is to kind of revert what we previously had and just test it out, but I really don't want to waste more time on the circle dependency thing. So if in the future we end up in another case with the circle dependency and this doesn't work, then we'll have to reconfigure it. So let's assume that it's working for now. Okay, then this thing is done. So the next part is let's see what we need to change here inside the template so we can actually create our our component without having this binding here. And in order to do that, I'm just going to go inside the code and I'm going to search for the template part. And I don't have a TS file. Why do we need debugging the JS? I'm not sure, but doesn't matter. It still looks good. So where are we actually creating our component? It should be somewhere here, right? Or not exactly. No, this is the template. Okay, let's search inside the template instance. And here we need to search for the declarations. Yep, there it is. So here is where we actually test the node to see if the local name is something like what we expect it to be. And as you see, if it matches the mark, this is the lit HTML mark. If you don't know what that is, just go and watch the previous episodes. We pretty much get the selector from the declarations. We get the constructor, and if the constructor exists, pretty much we create a node and we replace the current node with the new thing, which is our custom component. So the problem is that whenever we don't have a binding, we don't end up in this case here, which is not good. So the solution is to somehow make it enter this like part of the code, even though we don't have a binding. And if we go up, we can see that we are actually iterating over the length of these parts. So my first initial thought is to somehow be able to include an additional part whenever we are having like a custom component, right?
Mm-hmm.
So we can actually include it inside the iteration. And my other like second thought is, for example, to do it after we have iterated all over the parts. But I really think that the other solution will be better, just to include it as a part inside. So this means that whenever we are we need to find where actually these parts are created. So we see that they're on the template, but they're not like created in this template instance thing. So hopefully we can find them in the template, and this is, I think, the let's see what we are doing here. So we have like some length. This length comes from the result. The result is the template result. Okay, so probably maybe this is where we actually are creating the parts, right? Let's see, do we have somewhere like where we are pushing parts? There they are, yep. So this is the location where we need to add our additional parts. And I think that this is actually the location where we are actually creating our markers, right? For the individual components. I think we were doing it here somewhere.
I think it is there.
Okay, so the best thing is, I think, to just put a few breakpoints here inside the template and just start debugging. So we can understand what is going on. So I'm inside the template, and I'm just going to put a breakpoint here, and I'm going to refresh the page. I'm going to remove the additional breakpoints here and here and here as well. I don't need them. Okay, so we enter here. We have part index and we have a length. So the result is, as you see, the strings are actually the static parts of our template, and the dynamic parts are these values. So what we are doing here is we're iterating over the individual values, the dynamic things. This is interesting because we're actually saying that this HG test is going to be a static part. Is this like what we actually want? Inside the templates, actually, it will never change, right? So it should be a static part. I mean, if we put it like so, I mean, we cannot change it dynamically. We cannot change the tag dynamically, right? So it should be a static part.
Neither the name of the binding, so I mean, like
the names of the bindings, yes, they are static as well. So
yeah,
we cannot
it makes sense.
Yeah, I think it does make sense. So let's leave it like so for now. So what we're actually going to do is iterate all over the dynamic parts, and we are going to create nodes for this part. So we have only one part here. So let's see what's going to happen. Yeah, it has an attribute. We get the attribute and we do certain stuff. It doesn't matter what we do. The important thing is to see what we have after that. Okay, so we actually created the individual part, right? We iterated all over the nodes. It's interesting though. I'm not sure. Can we actually let's refresh this walker, because we saw that actually the walker gets each individual element. If this walker actually, even though we are iterating all over the dynamic parts, if this walker actually gets our lit components, maybe we can add the additional node here. So currently we're in this part, which is the empty string in the new line. So we continue forward with the next node. The next node is, yep, there it is, our component. That means that here probably we need to create some kind of a if condition that actually will understand what that is. So it's a node element. We go inside the node element. Here we say, does this node element has attributes? And it should have attributes because we have this binding. And we get the length of the attributes, and now we start iterating over the attributes. So not sure what that is. Anyways, okay, doesn't matter. We don't need this. Okay, so probably here, whenever we are done with everything necessary for the individual thing, on line 97, we need to probably add an additional node, right, for our current thing. Should we? I'm not sure.
Isn't isn't that the case where we already have an attribute? Isn't our problem with the templates that doesn't have attributes, because this thing should work?
Yep.
Yeah.
This is what I'm saying. I mean, we have this if condition. If we have attributes, I'm saying that we should do something inside this if condition when we're saying...
Gotcha. Totally. All right. Yeah.
But my thought is that it's interesting because we have to do some kind of a... Okay, let's see what we can do. Let's go inside the template. There it is. And let's go here. This is where we actually need to do something. So here we probably need to do if node dot, probably the same thing as we're actually doing here. Just to check to see, oops, it was not in the processor, it was in the instance. To check if this thing is a custom component, right? Like so. So if the local name includes the mark, then it should be our custom component.
Yeah.
So this is okay. This mark, I guess it exists. So, and now the question is what we should do here. So let's say that we actually push a part. We need to see what kind of parts we can actually push. So let's copy this thing. Let's paste it here. And let's say part component or something. I don't know. I mean, probably we have to change because as we see, we have either a node or an attribute. But we don't have actually a node because with nodes, we are actually using directives, right? And here we're not using a directive, so we probably need to create one additional type, let's say component, and just do the same thing as they're doing here, which is, I'm not sure this index, probably this index we will probably this index will have to increase it by 1, right?
And probably in the if statement you should say if this thing is like includes mark and also doesn't have attributes, because otherwise you go in the second if also.
Oh yeah, so probably we should if else then.
Yeah, I think that would be the best.
Yeah.
Okay, so we should probably just put it here and just say else, like so, and just put the if here, right? So if it has attributes, then it will jump inside here. But wait, I'm not sure because actually if we refactor the other scenario here, we can actually just because we don't want to count on the attributes. We always want to create this part, right? At least I would do so, because otherwise it would be strange. I mean, if we have a component, probably it's always better to have the component. And here, what we actually are going to do is, before we are handling the attributes, we are actually going to create the component, and this thing is going to be moved somewhere else. This thing is, we're going to move it whenever the parts type is a component. I mean, because otherwise it's going to be a little bit strange, right? So we have a comment in the chat. Hello, Georgi. I see you online. So,
again.
Do you guys agree, or what do you think?
Yeah, definitely. That's a more stable logic, because that way we can refactor the whole thing that we know when we have a component, and just I think it's generally a better idea. It's more straightforward in a way.
Okay, so let's try to do this, and if it doesn't work, then we'll, I don't know, refactor it somehow, but it should work. So we don't need strings, right? We don't need a sanitizer. We only need, I don't know, do we need name? What is name actually? This is interesting. What is name? Do we have name here? Oops.
177.
77.
Yeah, in the browser. If you scroll a little bit down in the browser, in the Chrome. And you 79, my bad.
Last attribute name. Okay. So we don't need actually the name as well.
Yeah,
probably this here is not going to be a bad idea to actually put the local name. So this is actually going to be the selector for the component, right?
Yep.
So why not just do something like this and what's the complaining?
Name. It's an object, and yeah, use the 2 dots.
Okay. I see. I thought it's a function we call it with arguments. Okay. So let's say local name, and here we can say replace, and we can replace actually the mark and a dash, right, with empty string. So this is actually going to give the selector for the component. At least I think so.
Replaced, local name replaced, not replace. I think the autocorrect was weird. Yeah.
So probably this, as we see that we're using it in 2 different locations, probably we have to extract it into a function at certain point, but let's just see if it's going to work first, and then we can do some refactoring. I'm going to close these things because we don't really need them for now. So we pushed our part that it's of type component. Let's quickly refactor the TypeScript so we can actually have a type of component. So this parts, where is parts? It should be somewhere here. We see template part, and yeah, here we have not template part. Let's say let's create a component template part component. Component, and we have the index. So this is what we actually need. And we're going to say, sorry?
And also the name.
It actually...
Because we were going to pass the name of the actual component, so we can...
Yeah, that's strange. So probably we should rename it to selector.
Yeah, that would be even better.
Since I thought that this thing, actually the node part is kind of extending the attribute thing, but I guess no. So probably selector is much better to say. And this means that here inside the template instance, no, where was it? Inside the template.
Or
inside the template. Here we can say selector. Nice. We don't need strings, and we don't need this as well. Perfect. It was very nice. Okay. This was the first thing that we needed to do. So let's see if we actually did something useful. So let's go and build our lit.html. Let's say yarn build. Okay, it runs the TypeScript compiler. It compiles with errors. Okay, let's see what the errors are inside the template instance. So let's go inside the template instance and see what is going on. It says part name here, which is kind of strange. Oh yeah, we need to actually add here another condition for our component thing. So we have to kind of separate things. So let's say else if not part type equals component. That's why I like TypeScript. I mean, it's just you change something and you have to go and replace the things that you actually changed. So
yeah, it forces your
much
hand.
better. Yep. So let's say something like so. I mean, it looks logical. That means that actually this thing here, we actually don't need it, right? Because we are actually going to have checked to see, I mean, we have the part which is type, so we don't need this.
Yeah, because
what we actually need
and such
is to actually use the part.selector. Ooh, nice. Okay, let's build it again and see if it's going to complain. One error, mark. Mark is never right.
Yeah, because
Favorite thing.
up to you. There it is. It was in the file we were just in.
Yep. We have this like TypeScript configuration also in our project, so it's very funny because you're actually doing some kind of like you want to do a quick test and you have to go and delete everything. So it's kind of annoying.
Yeah.
But it is useful because from time to time you just end up with these imports that are never used. So where should we put breakpoints? We should put inside the template instance and inside the template, right? So I think that we have inside the template. If I remember, let's see where our breakpoints are. So we have inside the parts, okay, instance. Let's put the one inside the template as well. Template, and where are we? Wait, we should be somewhere here. There we are, right?
Yep.
Okay. So, okay, now we ended up in this situation. So we see that this thing includes our mark. So we say, okay, we're going to push this part, which is a component, with the index, which is 1. And then the selector will be this thing. Let's see if it's correct, but it should be, since I already saw that. Yep, HG test, perfect. Okay, and then we increment the index. And then I'm not sure if this index incrementation is going to be, I think it's okay. Let's see if it's not going to break the attribute thing.
I think to break it.
I think this index actually is used just for this part that we're pushing. So each individual part can know its index.
Yeah, but I think there's one more incrementation inside the attributes if block. We'll see.
Well, there is.
We are pushing a part.
Yeah, but we really do have more parts.
Oh,
so,
all right.
It should be all right, but let's see if something doesn't break down the line.
It looks okay. I'm not sure. I mean, okay.
Oh, it's part index, right?
So now we end up here. I'm not sure why we have a breakpoint here. I'm just going to remove it. And now we're inside the template instance. So now is the tricky part. They're our parts, the tricky part. This is the tricky part. So let's see what's going to happen here. We come inside this loop. Okay, not part index is not index 0. So this is where actually this index is used inside this loop. So we increment, we check to see what kind of index it is. We see that it's not a node. Is it a component? It is a component. We create the component, then we replace it. We increment the part index, then we go to the other part, which is the attribute. And let's see, now is the tricky part, if this attribute is actually going to get constructed, to get put inside this thing that we actually have. So it's not a component, so we end up here. So the node is previous sibling. So this is where we actually need to be careful. Let's see what's going to say. We're pushing this part. Handle attribute expressions. Okay. I think it will work actually. This is going to be really awesome if it works. It does not break. Let's see. It created it.
Nice.
I'm not sure. Let's see if now if we remove this thing, it's actually going to get created as well.
Yeah, it doesn't get
created. It doesn't get created. So sadly, we missed something. But what did we miss? Let's see. It should be somewhere here. No, I think.
No, I don't think we're pushing the part in the component. When it's a component, we don't call this parts push.
Oh yeah. This is something that we need to do totally. By the way, I think that we also need to always have a constructor. So I'm going to remove this check as well, because otherwise, what do we do when there is no constructor? I mean, I think that it should send an error. So I think this is okay.
It's okay for it to break.
So we actually put the current node, and what we need to do is just say node.
Maybe.
What do we need to push here?
Yeah, that's the question. The text parts. Okay, we have separate handlers for each thing. What does the handle text expression from the processor actually return?
Wait a second. Here we are actually pushing a part. So we need to push a part here. The thing is that if we're pushing on component template, why is a component template part? It should be just component part. But anyways, let's see why. Let's debug it. Let's debug it. Alexander, what were you saying again?
To look at exactly what each of the processor handlers is returning, like how it's actually handling the data we're passing to it. The handle attribute part and the handle text attribute.
Okay, but I have like one question. Why are we not stopping here whenever we re-render? As you see, we're not even like going inside the loop that I have a breakpoint. So this is the problem currently. We don't even end up where we actually want here inside the component.
This is an if which checks the node while the part index is less than the part's length. So let's try with the okay.
Why is it 0? It shouldn't be, right? So I guess the problem is inside our template, where we actually are creating the component part.
Seems like it.
Probably we should increment also the part index inside the if check for if our type is component. Somewhere inside the template.
Let's see what we have here, because I think that the problem is that we actually don't have any dynamic parts. This is the problem, because we see that we have the component, but we'll never end up getting in this while cycle, in this while loop, because the length is 0. So what we actually need to do is we need to change this condition. So we need to say that for each element that it has this structure, we need to actually do it, just like increment the length with 1, or depending on how much things we have here.
Yeah, but if the way we're doing it now, it will be really hard for us to do that. We can try and because when we're actually pushing the part component part, no, never mind. I think I got mistaken. I got confused. What I was going for is because right now we have HG tests and we can't really know if that's a custom component or something. And
we know that it's a custom component. Custom components always like the selectors are with a dash. So
yeah, actually.
So I think what we need to do is just use a regular expression to match this thing, and then just increment the length, just change the length to be able to have for each individual custom component to have this thing, so we can actually push the parts. I don't know.
Yeah.
Let's try to do this. I'm wondering, didn't we create a regular expression for matching a component?
I think we did somewhere. Yeah, we did. But I think that there will be some more things to consider here, because right now, without implementing this, we already had it work properly. We created both the component and the attributes, and what will happen right now is that we'll enter the loop twice, and I'm not sure how exactly what will happen. What for instance, the walker will return. is the next node when we pass the component once and then it comes again.
Let's see. I mean,
Yeah.
we can't know. I mean, I think that it should be. I think that maybe it should be fine. I'm not sure, but let's see.
That's the only.
Okay, let's. I'm not sure where we put this regular expression though. Did we like? I don't know. Not sure where we put it or if we even created it. Do you guys remember?
Not really.
Okay, let's create it ourselves then. Actually, let's not even bother doing so much. Let's just test to see if it's app test and then HG test, and if it's HG test, just to increment it. And if it works, then we are actually going to create the regular expression. So we need to, where are we? What is this? Template. Okay, wait, let's go to the template then. We're inside it actually. And here, where are we? What do we want to do? Where is this length? There it is. So let's say if, or actually, let's quickly just do like so. This is going to work, right? Should work. Just in this case, I mean, we're trying to see what's going to happen. Oops, now we have another error. Cannot, yeah, this is the thing that I actually put here, that I wasn't sure what we need to push. I'm not sure we need to push something there. I think that this underscore parts is used whenever like you have a dynamic thing that is going to be changing. So you'll see. So, yay, we entered. So let's see what's going to happen. Okay. Yep, we create our component. Okay, let's see if it's going to enter the, oops, then it errored saying that failed to set current node property true or provided value is not of type node. This stack. Where is it used? Let's search here. So we're inside the template, and this is where the error comes from. So where is this stack? So we're pushing the node, which is the template. Probably we have to do the same thing for our component. And what we're pushing the node? Okay. We need to push the node. Okay. Let's see what's going to happen then. I think that this stack actually fixes the problem that Aleksander mentioned, that we're going to enter 2 times for the same thing. Let's see. Okay.
Okay.
Now,
I think we're.
Yep, I think that we are fine for now. Let's see if we, maybe not so good. Did I re-render it? Like, let's see, do we have the push here? Yeah, we do have it. That's strange. Maybe this thing is something that is breaking it. Or maybe Harry was right that we're not actually incrementing the part index. Let's see this part index. Because it should get incremented, right? But this part index is only used here inside the static things. So we should not be incrementing it. Or should we? I think we should at the moment, because we're actually working on a static part.
Yeah, maybe we should copy that logic as well.
Who knows? I'm not sure what this actually is doing, so we're kind of just testing to see what's going to break and what's going to happen. But it's a pretty interesting task. Okay, let's see.
This reminds me of this O'Reilly cover. It was, the books O'Reilly's, and
Yep.
they're like gag covers, like for JavaScript. There was one doing stuff until it works. So let's see.
Yeah. I mean, this is something that it's fine to do. I think. I mean, since like if you have a code that you didn't write, it's much better just to test to see how it's working. And then to find out, I mean, it's really important after that to find out why. It worked
totally
a certain
agree.
way. So I think that for now we're doing fine because we actually enter the template instance, and here we have the components. So let's see if it's going to get rendered. Yep, let's see. No, not yet. It did not get rendered. The caveat to set current node property to work provide is not type node. Okay, here.
Yeah, what?
This is inside the template, the stack pop. It's not working again. And this is maybe because of this thing.
Maybe.
I don't know. Maybe because of, why do we need to push it?
Part, and then it's like,
I'm not sure. This is strange.
But why it says that it's not a node when we're pushing a node?
let's see what the actual type is.
It's not on. It's not a. It's actually the tree worker. The tree walker expects like a tree node, not the nodes that it's from lit HTML. This is what I think. So I think that we actually here, whenever we are pushing, we need to push. What gets pushed here, like in this stack? So whenever we have an attribute, nothing gets pushed. Whenever we have a template, actually the template itself gets pushed. And here we say Walker current node equals this thing. Is this the?
But it's like dot content. It's not actually the node. It's the content of the node.
It's the template because it's a template element.
Yeah.
Yeah, but we don't have content here.
Yeah.
For our node. Or we actually do have a content. So we need to push the content.
Probably.
Let's try that, I guess.
I'm not very sure about that. HTML template element. This is strange. Because our nodes is what is our node? Okay.
Stop here.
Let's see what our node is, and then we're going to see what we actually need to push if we have to push something.
Probably we can check out what is in the stack. I mean, like what is getting pushed, like for real, from the debugger.
So node is actually, I think, the thing that we need to push. If we need to push though, because this is the HTML node. So I think that it's normal to push it. The problem is that we end up in this case where we actually don't have anything inside the stack. So probably this thing, the pop returns an undefined at a certain point, and that's why it gets angry. But let's see why and when does this happen. Okay, Here we have the stack, and the stack is empty. And this is because the node is no.
Where actually do we manipulate the stack as well? Where else?
Oh, guys! I know what the problem is. This len plus 1 is the problem. We currently have 2 components, and each individual component has a template. So the app component has the app test inside, but the second one doesn't have it, right? So that's why this thing like that I wrote is not working. That's the problem.
Yeah.
Okay, so this thing plus 1 is not very useful. What we need to do probably is like say something like const I don't know, inc, and then we can say if strings dot includes app or hg test, right? Then I want you to return 1, otherwise I want you to return 0, and then we can just use this inc here. I was just wondering because we actually go through all the process the first time, but the second time was failing, and I didn't understand. But now, obviously, it's logical that the second template doesn't have a component, and since we're not pushing apart, let's try the first thing that we wrote. So let's see. What? What? Let's see. Strings. Sorry? Why is it 0?
No, I was asking why do we have so many errors, but then I remember that you're
this is strings. It's an array. Should be something like find.
But include should work. Oh yeah, find. Okay. Sure.
It will work, but the problem is that we need to search it inside the array and not because we have other things here, and this is why it's not matching. Anyways, let's see. Okay. Come on, inc 1. Okay, perfect.
That's expected.
So far, so good.
So now it's erroring again. So let's see. Let's return this thing, I guess. Let's return this thing that we actually put after that. So I think that because we're changing the length, it's expecting to pop up something. What is this? Why does it have like this mark on the back?
That's really interesting.
I never seen such syntaxes before. Can somebody check what does the exclamation mark on the back do? This is super strange. So I'm actually going to test it out. It doesn't do anything. That's super strange. I'm not sure. Anyways, let's continue now. We create the components. Okay, there it is. We created the component, and now we have the second component. Here we have a 0, and bam, it works.
This is a non-null assertion operator.
Non-null assertion operator.
Yeah, because
seriously. Can you like share the link so we can see it?
Yeah. Just take a moment.
I didn't know about that.
Neither did I.
Okay, guys. So from now on, like the next week, we only start using this thing everywhere.
Let me post it like as a comment on the video.
Yeah, just post it so I can open it and see it.
Yeah, post it like a comment.
We don't see it.
Share it like in the StreamYard chat.
Yeah, so. I'm sharing it in the private chat. I'm not sure. That was the easier flow.
Okay. We have it, so I'm going to share it. Anyways, let's see. Oh, okay. TypeScript, no. Ah, this is from TypeScript.
Yep,
Okay.
yep.
I thought that it's from JavaScript actually.
No.
I tried it in the browser and it threw exception, and I was like, "What?
Yeah,
it works like on the stream, but not on my machine." And I was like mind blown. What's going on? Yeah.
But this is strange because don't we have like the question mark for that?
Yeah, that's what I thought, but I guess we can also use the exclamation mark. I'm not sure.
Okay, I'm going to read that. I'm going to post it inside the chat, and then we can just read it later because that looks strange. But I don't know. I mean, TypeScript. Anyways, we have our components. Oh yeah, look, my favorite image. I opened it so we can actually enjoy it. This is very cool. So yeah, guys, it's working. This is really awesome. We made it work. So now the question is, what happens if we put the attribute there?
Let's see.
Okay. And now it's not working.
Great.
Okay. Why is it working? Because we cannot get something with this index string part. Let's see. Okay. Actually, this should return 1. It does return 1. Okay. And then we end up creating the components. And then this is where we, okay, HG test. And we need to get the second. No, it fails.
Failing. But why was the actual attribute part removed? Like, where do we remove that? I think I've forgotten.
We should not be removing it at all.
Yeah. That's what
I just guess, but I think it's again problem with the increment stuff. Probably we should increment only if we have HG test whatever and we don't have attributes.
Yeah, that's what I was referring to some time ago when I thought about it.
Okay, so let's.
I'm not sure if
let's debug to see then whenever we have attributes to see what is changing. I mean, we create our part, which is the
stack,
which is the component, and then what changes.
Okay, we have the node attributes.
We have the attribute length. We have the node. Okay.
Okay.
So count is 1. The strings are these ones. And then we need to say string for parts. This is strange. Okay, so we have the 2 strings. There they are. And then we say that we want to execute this regular expression.
Look at the part. The part index is 1, and right here we're expecting the part index to be 0. Look at the strings.
Oh yeah. Okay, so we don't have to. Okay, then we will not increment the part index.
I'm not sure. Maybe we should increment the part index and just update the check when we are looking at that in the attributes. So like if this was a component and it was added, but no, actually.
But this part index is only used here, so.
So maybe just increment the part index, like the part index -1, because I don't think that we don't have a case where we can have an attribute without having a component.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. We don't need to increment it here because it's not used anywhere else except here.
Are we sure? Yeah.
I think so. I mean, we just put it there because we were testing out. So it should not be incremented. Maybe. We'll see. But yeah, okay, I guess it should. So you want us to... okay, so let's leave it then and say something like so.
But is it possible for it to have an attribute and not be a component? So is there a case in which we won't enter the first if statement, but we will enter the second?
Yes. What if it's like an HTML element?
Yeah, point taken.
I mean, they have attributes as well. So it's components. Okay, so then let's say true. And if is components, let's use it here to decrement the part index.
110. Yeah, there it is. I'm not sure if we should decrement it or just update the check, the way we access the actual string, because just messing around with the part index broke the actual logic. So I'm not sure if we should mess around with it again.
Okay, let's see then. Yep, maybe you're right. Let's see that if is component, we should have 1 and then 0.
Yeah.
So let's do like minus deck here. So do we need to change something? Okay, well, it looks like it might work.
Let's see.
We have, what is it, almost 35 minutes to be able to make it work. So let me just play it and see. Okay, we have it. Now the question is, if we remove this, if we're still going to have it. And we do. Okay, look, we're
another
masters.
question. If we have both, what will happen?
Both?
Let's say we have HG. Yeah, I mean, just copy the HG test, so we have 2 HG tests, one with the attributes, one without.
It should work totally.
Yeah.
It should work totally. There. See? It works, but it only shows the first one.
But we can.
It works
strange.
Yeah.
But this is because the increment. I mean, this is because this check is not correct, right? I mean, obviously, this is why it's not working, because we have to see how much HG tests we have. So if we say, for example, 2 here, then probably it will work. But we have to build it. Anyways, I think that we kind of like saw what we actually wanted. There they are.
Yeah.
So what we need to do now, but first, let's see if this test inside the HG test is actually going to show. So which one were we using? HG test?
This one, yeah.
Are you sure? Let me just see, because we are depending on what we are providing inside the inside the index. No, the bootstrap. Where are our declarations? Oh, the app module. Yeah, the HD2. Okay, so let's see. Let's create a test here, which is a string or a number or any, and let's just show it. It does not put it correctly. We don't see anything. It was test, right?
Yep.
Oh, but wait, maybe it does. But whenever first we're rendering it, it doesn't check it. Let's put our decorator, the text changes, to see if it's like so, right? Yep. Nope, it does not put it correctly. So this is another issue that we're currently having, but at least we are rendering our components.
Yeah, that's something.
Wondering why does it not put it? I think that the problem is that we are actually not providing the correct node to put it on. Yeah, that's the issue. So the creation of the nodes should not happen here inside the template instance when we're cloning it. It should actually happen here, where actually we're pushing the parts. Because whenever we're having an attribute, It's actually setting the attribute on the first child, the one that it's actually created inside the HTML template. And we are actually replacing it later with our custom component. I think this is the issue. You guys get it? Or
kind of.
Yeah, because here, whenever we're creating our component, where is it inside the instance? What we're actually doing is we're getting and replacing the child. And the other child actually has the binding, not this one that we are creating here.
So we should pass the binding somehow to the new child, or?
I think that what we need to do is actually do this thing inside the template. Then we actually don't even need to have like a part of type component.
Let's test it out.
Yeah.
Let's test it out. So this is the original code, I think so. Let's remove this thing that I created here. Where was it? Let's remove this thing. Okay, so the idea is to leave things like so and only change the template, right? So here is where we need to put this thing. Okay, so if it's a component, then what we need to do is get the selector, and the selector was this thing. Okay, let's say post selector equals this part. Then we need the context. So this is something that we don't have here inside the template. So let's say private context. And it's going to be optional because we don't want to like break the existing logic and just say that it has declarations any like so. It shouldn't be an array. Let's just put any. So we don't need, do we need this as well? I don't think so. Since what we only need, since what we want to do is only replace the child inside the walker. This is strange. I'm not sure if this is going to work, but let's see. Okay. So we got the selector, then we have to use the selector here. We have the context, but why doesn't it work? Undefined. Okay, this is because it might not exist. Okay, let's put this thing here. We get the instance. So this is in the case where we actually, okay, let's do like so. So, yeah, that's better. And then we replace the child and we say that, yep, something like that, maybe, right? I don't know. Let's see if this is going to work. Do we have any errors? We're actually going to see. We have an error. Is component, yeah. Let's remove this thing here as well. Yep. Okay. Nothing happens. So we have an error. Failed set to current node property. The provided value is not in the node. Okay, so this thing again is failing. And are we actually incrementing something? I commented everything out, right? We're not actually incrementing anything. And it's still failing. Oh yeah, this is because we have this part. Let's compile it. Okay, I'm not sure. I don't feel very confident at all that this is going to work. Let's see what's going to happen. Yep, nothing is failing, but nothing is getting rendered. And now we need to see where we actually are missing the thing. So I'm sure that we're still, once again, we're not entering this loop. That's why. Just because we actually need this thing to know. Oh no, we're not providing the context. Okay. Yeah, there are two cases. The first one is going to work. We're going to enter it, but the second one is not going to work. But anyways, let's see how we can provide the context to the template result, to the template itself. So the template is used where? Should we use somewhere inside template factory, lit.html, somewhere here? No, template factory. Template factory, where is it? There it is. Is this a template factory? So the template result, we're providing the where is how we were actually using this commit thing, commit without render, to provide the context. And I think that probably we need to change the logic, because somewhere here we need to create a new template. No, probably it's in the parts then. Let's see, new template instance. So inside the template instance, we're providing the context. Then here probably where is the template? I'm kind of lost, guys. Where are we doing new template? There it is. Inside the shady renderer, but this is not what we need. We have the template result. There is the template, but this is the test, some kind of tests.
Come on, where is it? Where is it?
It's here in the template factory. I think this is the thing that we need. The template factory. Let's see where this template factory is used. It's used here whenever we're default template processor. But where is this factory being used? It's just being exported. Render template factory tests inside the render function. There it is, template factory. So we're providing it to the node, and the node is using this template factory. So what we need to do is probably here say something like context as well. And this context we need to provide to the template. Where is the template? Where are we creating this template? There it is. Took so much time to see it. Okay, so let's do it like so I can actually see where this thing is used, and it's going to be much easier to put it there. So inside the renderer here, we're using the template factory. So inside the node part, whenever we're using the template factory, there it is. We provide the context. Sheesh, that was hard. Quick fix, or I should do like so. Come on, why are you complaining? Template factory should have this template factory. Yeah, okay, let's say context. Okay, now it should not be complaining. Okay, it's not complaining. Okay, and everything should be fine. Right?
Should be.
Probably.
This is a lot of. This is yay!
Oh,
It's working.
All right.
Wow. Okay.
So
I always
the other test.
No, yeah, the other test. We have to do the other thing now. So this thing now we have to do. But yes, this I cannot believe that it worked actually. So let's see how we can do this part. Okay, let's go back to the template then. Template, it was here, right? So the problem was that this thing is missing. So let's say whenever we have HG test, so Harry, I think Harry is correct now, since we actually need to see if this, I mean, I don't know.
If there are any attributes.
Yeah, we need to see if this thing has any attributes. And if it doesn't, then we create it. I mean, we actually, if it doesn't, we increment the count here. Right?
Sounds about right.
But the problem is that how are we going to understand if this thing has any attributes or not? Ideas?
Function will use parse.
Harry, you're breaking up.
Okay, I'll try with the screenshot now. It didn't work.
Oh, sorry.
I missed him again.
Yes, you did. This is amazing. Harry, are you online?
Yes, I don't know if you hear me.
So right now we do, I think.
Oh.
But we're hearing with a delay or something.
So what were you suggesting?
Come on. Can you hear me now? As far as I remember, LitHNO has like internal functions that check for the bindings. You know, if there's a to it, @mark or something like this. Do you remember, guys, from
the
like
handout
2 episodes ago?
Yeah, but the problem is that we are even before this thing even happens. So it's like here, whenever we are constructing a template, we need to understand if this thing, we need to increment it by 1 or no.
Yeah, but we can like copy paste those functions and use them here.
Yeah, that could actually work.
I'm not sure. I'm not sure if they're going to work. They were inside the template results or something.
They were methods of the template processor. And the attributes expression, yeah, that thing. The attribute one. Yeah, that one, I think, was doing that.
Yeah, but this is an interface. That's a problem. So it should be here.
Yeah.
Yeah, but this thing gets the element. This is the individual element of the DOM, I guess.
Well, you can use another regex.
Yeah, we need a regex. Oh, a regex.
You know, we can do it like if it includes a dot just for the test, and it should work.
Why don't we just do like so and just say that if it has attributes and if it's a component, then we decrement it. Will that work?
Probably.
Let's try.
If it's component, then what should we decrement? The where are you? Okay, we should decrement the ink. Yep, we should decrement the ink, but it's a constant, I think. So let's do it like so. Let's say ink equals 0. Ah, not 0. Like so. Oh, this is getting really ugly, but let's see if it's going to work. Nope, nope, and nope. Let's see why. Okay, where are we decrementing it here? So we come here, we see if it's an HG test. So we see that we have two things. Wait, yeah, there are two here, okay. So we get the parts, then say, okay, we enter it, then we go over the nodes. We construct our thing. So its component is false, but now it's going to become true. There it is. And then it has attributes. So that means that we're going to decrement the ink with 2, from 2 to 1. Yep. Yeah. Should we? We decrement it to 1. Then we iterate over the things. And now is the question. Here we have part index 1. We have 1, but here we have 1 as well. And actually, did we? This is not correct. We actually had to, we had to, should we have it? Okay, let's see what's going to happen. Now this thing breaks. This is because I guess we walked all over the nodes, but did we end up, we did not end up 2 times inside the, when we were creating a component. So how did we do that? I mean, because we need to walk all over the nodes. So node type, this is the first one. And now this one probably is the second one that has no attributes, maybe. No, it has attributes, so this is the first one still.
I don't know. I still feel funny about this increment stuff that we were doing at the start.
I feel very funny as well. It's not the proper way to do it. The thing is, why now, whenever we're getting the next node, we're actually not going to get the other component. We just get no. I don't understand why. How are we replacing this object? You're saying please replace the child that is this node. Maybe this is the problem. Because do we need to like say walk our current node? But I think that we do, because otherwise, like if we don't, Then here, whenever we're iterating all over the attributes, probably it uses the current node to do something on it.
Maybe it could be that.
Or, okay, let's see if we don't do it then. Because let's see where it's being used. It's only being used here to pop stuff. And here inside the template, we are putting it and nowhere else. So let's see, maybe this will change things. Nope. Same thing. And I think that this was a problem where we actually we added these additional things that we were incrementing here. These things. The index plus plus. But we're not pushing on maybe the part index, but it should not be the part index because we are in the same part. We should not increment anything, I think. I think that the only problem maybe is here that we are not changing the node. Yep, this is the problem. Because I think so. I'm not sure. Let's see. Walker next node we replace the same node, current node. Let's see. This looks correct. Anyways, we have like 10 minutes, so I guess maybe we are going to have another. Why are you complaining? So element, comment, text, or no? These are the things that we can have. I guess it does not understand what we are currently setting here as element. Okay, now it should be okay. No, it's still not okay. Add node. Oh. Okay. I was really hoping to be able to finish it today.
That would have been great, but I guess it's deeper water than we expected.
It's always like so.
Yeah. This was supposed to be one episode, 4 episodes
Yeah.
ago.
Okay, we're creating it. Now we are replacing the current node, and yep, now everything should be fine because it should. Who knows if it will be.
Let's
So
see.
now the stack doesn't have anything still. This is because we're incrementing this thing and we're not pushing something inside the stack. So let's just push the thing that we were pushing before, I guess. I'm not sure what to push here. Because it says stack pop. Let's push the instance. Okay, let's push the node actually.
For that.
What? Why parts does not exist? Oh, it should be stack. Yep.
Yeah.
Stack. I'm like, didn't I copy this from somewhere? But I guess I copied it from the wrong place. Okay. Now it's working, right, guys?
Yeah.
Now it should work.
Let's see if it renders something.
Come on, please.
Okay. I think that the best case is to see inside where we are popping stuff here to actually, because yeah, I mean, I think it's going to work now, but well, let's see, I don't know. What? Oh, we're creating the second component now. That's cool. It doesn't have attributes, okay. And now please don't break. It didn't break, I think. Oh.
Wow. Close.
I think we should change the condition here whenever we're popping stuff from the stack. I think that where does this happen? Here. So I think that we should check to see if this ink is 0. So if it's 0, we should not pop as well.
All right. Let's add it.
Because when are we? No, we are decrementing it only here when it has attributes.
So that won't cover the second case.
Okay, let's do it like so. Custom elements count. For now, we're just going to leave it like so. And let's say custom element with attributes count equals 0. So here we're going to use this thing, custom elements count. And then here we're going to say if custom elements equals 0, you should not just pop stuff because we pretty much handled everything, right? So the thing is where we are actually going to be changing stuff. So here, whenever we have a custom element, we are actually going to be incrementing this thing, the custom elements count. And whenever this thing has attributes, we are going to say custom elements with attributes plus plus. So we're going to increment this counter whenever we have a custom element, and then we should say minus custom elements with attributes. Does that make sense?
It looks logical.
So here, why are you complaining? Not sure why it does not like the node. Anyways, I think that it's fine. No, it should be something like that. Oh wow! I think by changing the condition there, we kind of changed a lot of stuff. This means that because this check is not, probably we had to return here or just break maybe. Yeah, I think break would be more logical. But anyways, let's see like so. Nope. I think we ended up in a infinite loop. Yep. Wonderful. I love infinite loops.
Yeah. Who doesn't?
Okay, so maybe here we need to say if node equals no and this equals 0, then break. And then we build it. And let's see if the browser is going to. Oh, okay. It will be okay. I think we managed to save it. Did we? Nope. I think that I have to restart it, sadly. Let's open another window and continue from there, because if I kill the Chrome, probably I'll kill the whole stream.
Yeah.
So it's not good. Yeah, but it's still not rendering, and we still are like having this error. And why are we not entering this case? So the node should be no, and the custom elements, wow. Why do we have 3 elements? That's interesting. How did this happen? Aren't we just incrementing it here?
Yeah.
Wait a second. Wait. Custom elements count. I have to decrement it here, not increment it. Right?
Yeah. So
Yeah.
Oh. I think that we need a break. It's already 12, guys. So if this doesn't work, I think that we're going to close the episode for now and then continue next time. I will try to find more time in the week so I can sit down and think of a way so we can actually do this. So we don't have to figure it out here in the episode because it's taking a bunch of time. As we see, it is possible to do it. The only problem is that we're going into a few cases where actually we don't. Okay, I think. Please break. Come on. We have a text. Okay. Now you should break. No. Still not. The second component. Okay, we constructed. Okay, then break is. Oh wow, it's working, but again, it's not showing. It's not showing the things again. At least it's showing both of them, but it did not bind the thing correctly. And I'm wondering why it didn't bind it. Usually it should bind it. What did we change not to get bind? That's super strange. Because actually the attributes, they get handled here somewhere. Has attributes. This is where they get handled. And why didn't it handle it? That's strange.
Are we using the directive in the test component that's
Yep.
listening for changes?
Yep. No, it should actually bind it. I mean, it showed it before, so we didn't change anything. There is a problem somewhere here. Anyways, we kind of like succeeded in rendering the things, so yeah. This is good. I think. As you see, we have our custom components, the two of them. So the only issue now is that this thing does not get, it does not show the binding correctly. Yeah. So yeah, next time we're going to fix this and then move forward. Hopefully.
Oh, yeah.
Anyways, it's 12, so I don't know. Any comments, guys? Anything that you want to share? Any picks?
Nothing right now. Harry.
Have you heard about NG Rock?
No. What is this?
Have you heard NG Rock?
No.
Yeah, the first one. So this is pretty cool tool that lets you like share what's happening on your local host to other people. And let's say if you want to make a demo to someone and you don't want to deploy stuff wherever, or say to someone write npm install and stuff, you can use NGRock and share whatever's on your machine, which is pretty cool.
This is really nice.
It's great for like Angular React applications. Yeah, it's nice too, and it has a free version, so you can use it right away.
Is it like is it different than Visual Studio Live Share? Visual Studio Code Live Share?
I think the Visual Studio Code Live Share is sharing what's happening in your Visual Studio, and this is actually sharing like what's happening on localhost. I mean, like if I share a link to you, you can see whatever I have served on my machine. Let's say, for example, if I'm serving a Angular application,
it's the same.
Yeah,
it's the same. Visual Studio Code.
Never use the Visual Studio one.
Yeah, it's pretty cool actually. You can share the server and everything. But yeah, that's
I don't know that.
Yeah, that's interesting. I have another pick, which is Angular 9 that got released yesterday.
Yeah.
And I mean, we have to test it out. Probably we'll do a bunch of episodes for it as well. And I don't know. I mean, probably after we finish the library that we're building, we'll end up like having a few episodes on Angular 9 and see how we can do meta programming and all the things that it allows us to do. And yeah, I think that this is all for now, I guess. Hopefully it was interesting for everybody watching, and we'll see each other next Saturday.
Yeah.
See you
Okay,
next
guys.
week.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Have a nice weekend, and until next week.